I'm Angelina. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite recipes. We're going to make homemade ricotta. Yes, you heard me right, homemade ricotta. I have enjoyed this recipe for quite a while, and I find there's just nothing I can buy out in the market that can taste as good as my homemade ricotta. So try this recipe if you can. To start, I'm going to show you what you need. First of all, you need a stainless steel pot that will hold at least 5 liters of liquid. You will need a temperature gauge, and I use my meat thermometer. I found that I didn't have to go out and buy a special apparatus to test the temperature of the liquid as it's getting to its point of maturity, or any other thermometer that can go into a hot liquid. You could use that as long as it can give you the right temperature gauge, because we're going to be cooking this up to a temperature of 190 degrees. So you have to make sure that your temperature gauge is accurate, because you don't want to be off by too many degrees, or it could change the consistency of your ricotta. Next thing you'll need to have is a cheesecloth, or what I use is a linen tea set tablecloth that I've had and that I never use. So I wash this really well, and every time I use it, I clean it really well, wash it out with soap, make sure there's no milk residue in it, and I let it air dry. And when I'm going to make my next ricotta recipe, then what I do is I just put a pot of water on the stove, bring it to a boil, throw this in, let it sit in the boiling water for a little while, and then I take it and squeeze all the water out of it, and it's ready to line my colander, which is the other thing that you would need. And I use this nice big one. You're straining 4 liters of liquid, so you need a big colander. A small one won't do, because you'll have an overflow, and so that I suggest to get one that will be fairly large. Although you could put in your curds, let them drain, and keep on adding slowly, but I like to put it in all at once and let it strain. I prepared my cloth and boiled it and have it all ready to set up into my colander here. So I'm just going to take it, center it, push it in so that it's all ready. And that's it. So you've got it all ready for when your ricotta reaches curd and you can put it in. So let's set this aside for now. And then we get to our ingredients. And this is a really simple recipe. It only has 4 ingredients: nutmeg, lemon juice, 1 liter of 35% whipping cream, and fresh homogenized milk. That's whole milk, so that it has all the fats in it. And that's basically everything you need for this recipe. We're going to prepare our milk and cream so that we can start to boil it. So what I do is I just cut away the corner, hold it very tight, tip it, and let it all go in. I've prepared my milk and cream in the pot, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a tiny little bit of nutmeg. I'm going to grate it fresh. Nutmeg just gives it a little nice little flavor. Not much, that's all I put in. Our ingredients are all ready to go onto the burner, and we're going to be stirring constantly, because if we don't stir constantly, we could get some scorching on the bottom of the pan, which will change the flavor of the ricotta, discolor it, and you really want to get the best product you can, and only being on top of it the whole time until it reaches its temperature of 190 degrees. You must continually stir it so that it will not burn. So please be very, very careful about this and keep your eye on it. And while you're stirring, we're going to be constantly checking the temperature, and when it reaches the temperature of 190, we're going to take it off of the burner and we're going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Once it's rested, we will then add the lemon, give it a slight stir until we see the curds start to form, and then we will let it rest again before we then take it and put it into our colander with the cheesecloth or linen strainer, and your ricotta is almost there, ready to be savored. Let's go over, put it on the burner, and get our ricotta cooking. I brought the pot over to the burner and turned it on high, and I'm going to cook it on high the whole time until it reaches its temperature of 190 degrees. Now, I've used a wooden spoon, and preferably with a flat bottom, as you can see, so that as I'm running the spoon around the bottom of the pan, I'm not going to get any kind of residue sticking and burning. I just start off by turning it and cooking it like this, and when I'm ready to temperature check it, as I said, I'm using my meat thermometer, and I've turned it on. You don't have to worry about which meat or which setting it's on. You just have to turn it on and it will keep temperature for you. I'm going to just check it to start here, and we'll see what it's saying my temperature is. And right now it's telling me my temperature is 25 centigrade. So I will just relax for a while and the 15 minutes went by, and I transferred the whey with the ricotta curds into my colander here, and you can see it is now letting the curds drain out, and I have been manipulating the cloth here so that my ricotta becomes solid. Give it a mix through the center because a lot of the liquid is in the center. And when it gets to the consistency that I like, I will then transfer it to a container that I can store the ricotta. It's still, for me, it's still a little bit liquidy. I like to see it sit on the top in like little lumps, and when it does that, I know it's ready for me. So just keep on pulling it, and you can start to see that there's less liquid pouring out. And that's all there is to making ricotta. It takes probably about an hour and 15 minutes from start to finish, and it is great. Once you have fresh ricotta, you will only want fresh ricotta. I love it for making my lasagnas, for stuffing it into involtini. I love it on my toast. I will toast a 12-grain slice of bread, put peach or strawberry jam on it, and then put a big lump of this ricotta, and it's like having a cheesecake for breakfast. It is so good, and it's pretty healthy because it's cheese. It's low-fat cheese with your 12-grain bread. So try it. It's great. If you like this recipe, please subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think about ricotta cheese made at home.